Whenever we talk about meaning and purpose, people's stories always turn to healers. Someone, somewhere, at some time, has had a healing impact in their life that resulted in their living a life of meaning and purpose. One day I received a message from a client, and it said, "Happy anniversary," in the subject line. I read on. Their note said that they had 4 years ago made a decision in their life on that particular anniversary day to change their life and seek help, to ask for help. And that's when they made the call to the office for an appointment. They had decided to begin to heal. They had found the 3 rings of power. They had decided to ask for help. They decided to let go of control. And they decided they were willing to forgive themselves and others. Again, in my heart, privileged. Privileged to be a partner with such a person. Privileged to be a healer in their lives. Humbling and privileged. When I ask people to speak about the healers in their lives, they will inevitably, in the story, speak to when they got stuck, got sick and tired of being sick and tired. Why? Because they would not ask for help, because they were controlling, because they would not forgive. And often that begins the incredible story of the golden thread in their life. As they set out on their journey, willing to ask for help and willing to let go of control, willing to forgive, they found that even one of these rings of power brought the other 2 rings into play. That is, the movement of one, the infusion of energy into one of them, began to shake and open the other 2, so that when they became willing to ask for help, it potentiated the power they found in the willingness and ability to let go of control and to forgive. And this is good news. This is good medicine, when one potentiates the other in powerful ways for our healing. As we listen to stories of healing, we always hear of these areas. The healing of the mind, its memories and recollections, its remembrances. The stories are full of times of remembering one's family of origin, one's family tree, of critical times in those relationships when decisions were made for them, or when they made decisions for themselves, even in those early years. Decisions that stayed with them until the day they walked into this room. Their willingness to ask for help and now open and let go of control, to even ponder forgiving, meant that everything became possible. And the stories would begin to flow. Always we would find beliefs that were a hindrance. Beliefs which we must honor were made in a time of crisis or pain, but no longer served us, and now must be let go. We honor that old belief. We thank it and give its release, because now we need a new belief so that we can move forward with a life of meaning and purpose. They came to find that when they changed their belief, they could believe differently, and in believing differently, perceived differently, and in perceiving differently, receiving differently. This meant that now there could be healing of the emotions. When the moment came to see an old belief no longer served them well, they were free to choose a new belief. And after pondering this, counseling with others, or loved ones or trusted friends chose a new belief and came to perceive and receive differently. This in itself potentiated the healing and the possibilities of letting go of control. And in letting go of control, opened the possibilities for forgiveness. With this emerging newness, with these 3 chairs now in the room, they found a need for others, for support, encouragement, and guidance, and loving kindness. Often then reaching out to 12-step groups, such as Alcoholics Anonymous or Al-Anon, or Adult Children of Alcoholics, or Celebrating Recovery, or prayer groups, or groups related to specific topics of learning and change. They reached out to others. As a result, some of the stories began to emerge of physical healing. This is a challenging subject for many of us in the medical field, but a vital one, no less important than anything else. For the change in belief brings a change in the body on a molecular level. A change in relationship with another brings about a change in the body, in the heart. A change in beliefs brings about a change in the mind. And so we began hearing stories of physical healing. For some it was sudden and instantaneous. The symptoms would be gone. For others, over a period of time, as though they were soaking in a bath, they began to heal baby step by baby step. Soak after soak after soak in the new possibilities of life. The openness to new beliefs, perceptions, actions led many to reach out to other methods of healing in their lives that they had not experienced before. Massage or yoga, Reiki, sound therapy, healing touch, Chinese medicine, herbal medicines. A new life was upon them. Some also shared about the healing experience of their spirit. For some, they would explain this in religious language, sharing that they had been forgiven by God for the sins they had committed. Some would express it in shamanic language, that a journey had been done and they had been made whole once again. For most, when they spoke of being able to forgive themselves and others, they spoke of a healing of their spirit unimaginable until that time. Their spirit being healed. At other times in these stories, we are finding explanations of generational healing in families of origin. Healing between parent and child, mother and father, parents and child, parents and adult child, a grandparent and a grandchild. It becomes possible because they have opened to the possibility of new beliefs, and in such came to perceive the world differently and receive the world differently. An opening as huge as the Grand Canyon in their heart to welcome the world, to change the family tree to some degree. Some things would never be the same. The ability to forgive, the ability to let go of control and experience joy and loving kindness was transformative. We know from nature and the cutting of a tree that we can see the rings of a tree, and we can see each year what happened to that tree in its environment. A good year with plenty of moisture, perhaps a year of wildfires and burning and scorching, other years drought, other years plenty. We begin to see this, they begin to see this in their family tree. And they come to know they have a decision now that they can make an impact and decide, what will you have as your ring in the family tree? And the possibilities become immense. In its grander form, this type of living, this way of living, the way of the hero, you, transforming, becomes tribal, becomes communal in nature. For the healing, like the rings of a tree, proceed outward into the community, and things cannot be the same. If it began with one chair in solitude, and grew to include another chair in friendship, and grew to include a third chair of community, and grew into an organization of volunteers around the world for over 500,000 homes, the world can be changed. This world of one, with two other chairs and pets and plants. The stories affirm that it is our nature to heal. We know it is in our body's nature to be self-healing as much as it can. It is in our nature. It is the nature of life. So tell me of your healers. Tell me your experience of finding the possibility of new beliefs, new perceptions, a new life. Tell me your stories of healing and helpers and heroes. Was your body healed? Did you hear stories of other persons' bodies being healed? Was your heart healed? Were relationships changed? Were they healed? If so, how did that happen? What was that like for you? What is that like in your story? Did your story include healing of the family tree? Healing of intergenerational relationships? Tell me about that. Tell me in particular who has been a healer in your life. Tell me their name. Tell me when you were with them. Tell me when you first knew healing was taking place. Was it a time of need for you? Were you lost? Were you found? Whatever occurred, if there was a healer in your life, that healing was imprinted on your body, received by your body, and always remembered by your body. Receiving it into our story, it becomes a part of us. And when we tell the story again, perhaps over and over again, there is an indigenous belief that says when the story is being told, it knows it is being told. And it comes and surrounds you in all that you do and say. And that long line of persons before you, ancestors and heroes and family members, who all gave their lives so you could be here now to tell your story, is part of the immense richness of this life. Sometimes there are no words to describe your healing, I know. And yet we try, as though our body needs to release the good news, not just to keep it to ourselves, not just to sit it on a chair of one, in a room of one. And so we try to find the words, and sometimes we just simply have to say, we don't know what happened. We just know everything changed in the blink of an eye. As if everything in the universe shifted into our favor, and we were healed. All we need to know then is it is here in our body. And this is the body we bring to each other, and this is the body we take into the body that we call community. for the healing of the world. Some of us come and describe experiences of healing and change in the presence of nature. In fact, we usually start the story by saying, it's indescribable. I can't explain it. And then we go on to try our best. A sunset, a lush tropical forest in Thailand, mountains in China, the spine, the Cordillera, the Andes in Peru, your own backyard, a flower garden, a field or horizon, the dawning of the day with the first food of the day, the sun. Sometimes it's in those brief, unexpected moments that we are changed, that we are healed. And even as though it is trying to help us change our beliefs when we struggle to do so ourselves, coming out of that experience, out of that precious moment, we find we already have new beliefs of an incredible part of life. How do we admire this? How do we nurture this then? How do we celebrate this if we have experienced healing in nature? We know with people we can embrace them, walk with them, spend time with them, thank them, celebrate with them. We know with our pets that we can embrace them and thank them and walk them and them walk us and spend time with them, care for them, see to their needs and them to ours. What of the larger scope of the planet? How do we say thank you? How do we say thank you to something that has given us life? We have looked at families of origin and cultures and tribal lives. In the end, no matter what our complaints, there's only one thing to be said, and that's thank you. For we are here and we are now, and we can change. So in the morning, you might want to consider a gift as the sun rises, a gift of tobacco onto the earth, as indigenous populations do every day. Or perhaps a song as the sun rises and we partake of it as the first food of morning. Perhaps a dance, perhaps a song, perhaps a glance at a loved one to say thank you to all that life has become. So what if? Someone will ask you this. What if we could believe that could be possible? Just imagine. Just in the imagining, there is healing. Thank you.